Hi, I am getting on here to tell you about the differences and the types of corporations that are available to you as a business owner. Now, the reason why I'm doing it this week is because in the past 2 or 3 weeks, I've talked to various different folks, some of them who are assisting business owners like tax preparers and accountants, and others who are already in business. And I've learned that a lot of people are still really confused about what a corporation actually is and who can be a corporation and what kind of a corporation you have to be. So, first thing I'm going to remind you of is that corporations and LLCs are different types of entities or different types of business structures. And I already have another video that explains the difference generally between the two of those. You can take a look at that. But what I want to tell you is that not everybody can be an LLC. If you have a particular kind of business, you must be a corporation. And the kind that I'm speaking of is any business. Well, the corporation's code actually says that an LLC may not provide professional services, which means if you are providing professional services as defined by the California Business and Professions Code, I think it is, or Corporations Code, then you must be a corporation. You cannot be an LLC. So I took some notes. I'm just going to read them to you real quick. So professional services are rendered. This is a definition now. Professional services are rendered pursuant to a license, a certification, or registration authorized by the Business and Professions Code, the Chiropractic Act, or the Osteopathic Act. So that includes dentists, pharmacists, veterinarians, architects, court reporters, behavioral health professionals, speech-language pathologists, registered nurses, tax preparers, bookkeepers, paralegals, and legal document assistants. Those folks are all being licensed or registered according to the Business and Professions Code. But there's also a list under the California Corporations Code, section 13401.5, of the different kinds of entities that have to be a professional corporation. And I'm going to read those, a couple of them to you now. So like a medical business, if you're a doctor and going into business, you need to be a professional corporation. If you are a licensed professional clinical counselor, a licensed physical therapist, a licensed midwife, a licensed physician or surgeon, registered nurse, licensed chiropractor, licensed acupuncturist. I'm getting all excited because a few of these professions have said, well, can't I just be an LLC? And I'm telling you no, and they don't really believe me. But you don't have to believe me. You just have to go and look up the corporation's code and see what it says. Licensed optometrist, licensed marriage and family therapist, licensed clinical social worker. Let's see. Licensed psychologist. I probably said that already. Naturopathic doctor. Yeah, all these folks they have to be a professional corporation. Now, what also kind of surprised me last week is that somebody who I was talking to see if they would be able to help me with my books said they had never heard of a professional corporation before. And honestly, that kind of scared me because I guess as not a tax preparer, but a bookkeeper, you don't have to know the difference between a professional corporation and a regular corporation. But I'm kind of worried that they didn't know the difference between a professional corporation and a regular corporation. And when I said that my business is the Wilkerson Law Office PC, they're like, what's PC? Only PC I know is personal computer. Not a good look. I'm probably not going to go with that person as my bookkeeper because whether or not they should know, I feel like, I don't know, there's a little bit of distrust there. I also know that a lot of people who prepare taxes give entrepreneurs business advice on what kind of entity to form, whether it should be an LLC or a corporation. And I just want to remind you, based on what I've heard this week, that a lot of people don't actually know what they're talking about, even if they have the letters and the education behind their name. So when you get ready to go to ask somebody for legal advice, accounting advice, business advice, make sure that you vetted that person, ask for their credentials, know a little bit about what you're seeking to do and what you're looking for. So at least you can begin to hear, based on the questions that you're asking, whether or not they know enough. I don't want to feel like I know more about accounting and bookkeeping than the people I'm hiring to do my accounting and bookkeeping. And I don't actually know that much, but I know that a professional corporation exists. I know that I have a client trust account, and that needs to be treated differently, or with like special gloves, right? I know a couple other things to know when somebody doesn't quite know what they're talking about. So make sure that you look for somebody who does. And I'm not saying that you have to come to me, but of course I'm a resource for you if you are looking for it. So just remember, if you are operating a business that is licensed by the Business Professions Code. So if you're licensed, if you have to license, if you have to get a license, if you have to register somewhere, or if you need some kind of certification, chances are, more likely than not, you have to form a corporation. You cannot be an LLC. People have asked me, well, what happens if I file an LLC anyway? I know plenty of chiropractors who are LLCs. What I think is going to happen is that if for some reason there is an audit on your taxes, I think you'd probably end up taking a hit because, or having some kind of consequence because you're not in the right entity structure. If somebody sues you, that entity structure is not going to protect you because it's not the right one that you're supposed to be in. So on a day-to-day basis, I don't know that it's going to hurt you, but when you really need the protection of that business structure, that's definitely when it's going to come back and bite you in the A for not doing your due diligence. Don't just listen to other people who are in your industry. Go to the expert, okay? Because a lot of people do it wrong, tell their friends how to do it. Now you have 15 people doing it incorrectly who are then telling their other friends because they're trying to be good mentors, right? Trying to help people come along. They're all doing it improperly as well, okay? All right, that has been on my mind for the past couple days, so I'm so glad that I was able to get on here and share this with you. Let me know if you have questions, okay? Happy to answer them. Yeah, okay, that's it. Ciao.